pretty special, isn't it? The English countryside. It's even more impressive when you get that very occasional thing called sunshine, which I'm told does happen every now and then. But just walking in these lush rolling greens, I don't know, I find myself absolutely transported to another place. It feeds your soul and you just feel tranquility and peace. But not this piece of English countryside. Because just outside Winchester in the South Downs National Park, there is a farmland that this weekend is going to be having its soil tilled by a different kind of horsepower. Welcome to the absolute madness that is a Matterley Basin on a Motocross of Nations racing weekend. So this iconic track was designed back in 2006 by J.D. Hamilton, and it is a firm favourite with the fans because of the natural amphitheater that's created by the lie of the land. You've got all the undulations, the ups and downs, but it is precisely that the track was designed, taking in the natural ground effects that make it so popular with the riders as well.
Layout, it's perfect. For the fans, for the public, it's perfect because they can see almost a full track, so that's pretty cool.
The track is really sticky, and it's not something that you get very often, especially not in training. So you can't have a bike that's going to work perfectly when you come here because you've never been on something like this. So that makes it much harder.
Motocross des Nations, or the Motocross of Nations as it's now known, has been around since 1947, and I guess the best way to describe it is it's essentially the Olympic Games for motocross. So each country sends their 3 best riders who get to duke it out for top honours. This year there are 36 nations doing battle in the UK, and Team South Africa has come with a really strong rider lineup.
It is the only time we ever race together as a country. So it's nice because we're together, we have the vibe, you've got the country support behind you, you've got the whole community in South Africa behind you, so it really is awesome. The 3 that are on the team now have got a lot of international experience, so the boys are ready to go for a top 10.
Best event of the year for all of us to come together, especially in the UK. There's so many South Africans here this year, it's probably the best one. It's been the best team atmosphere and the best pit environment this year so far of all of them that I've been to. So it's a really big privilege and honour to represent South Africa.
Yesterday I was walking around with a flag on my back and a big South African hat, and we are known now as Team South Africa, not Camden McLellan.
Dream come true to come here and watch South Africa race against the rest of the world, yeah, for sure.
Really excited. It's like a dream come true. I came here in 2006. I was 9 years old. My parents brought me to come watch this race at the same track. So it's been a dream of mine since I was that age. That's all I can remember is what I want to race this race and at this track. So to do it now, and yeah, it's really special and looking forward to it.
All 3 of our riders are on different bikes, different brands, different sponsors, and they've got their own setup. So if they like a scoop tyre for the muddy conditions, it's their call. If they want to race with a moose tyre, it's their call.
Obviously I spend a lot of time with motor racing in terms of 4 wheels, and compounds play such a massive thing, and how the manufacturer works with the riders and the drivers and the cars. It's no different with motocross. So we're having a look at a whole bunch of different tyres here where literally they've got special compounds and tyres for Kawasaki, Husqvarna, KTM. So it's not just the manufacturers that want specific needs for the tyres, but also the riders.
Yes, the riders, they make the test, and every rider is different, you know.
You get different types of Dunlop tires, obviously, depending on the terrain that we're riding. This right now, it's very sticky, but it's kind of a hard base, so you want a hard packed tire. A tire that's not going to wear very fast. It's kind of more square knobblies where you have traction when you're leaning over. And then a scoop, it kind of scoops the sand more. It's a little bit longer in diameter, so the scoop we usually run on a softer type of track, but I actually ran it this morning because it was very soft and sticky, so you can get away with it. Our Triumph test rider, he's also been testing Dunlop tires, so he's kind of making a tire and he's riding a Triumph, so we kind of have a tire that really suits the bike, so that's also really cool.
How many tyres will you put on rims on a weekend like this?
Oh, so I put here 400 tires.
Gate pick for qualifying, it's lucky draw. We got number 19, so the guys will go to the line in 19th position. Not ideal, but it's lucky draw. We just work with that. The result of the qualifying race will then put us in whatever position we land up for the actual gate drops where the points count.
Got off to a good start, twisted it out the first corner once, got halfway through the lap, just got it back comfortable again, and then twisted in one of the deep ruts.
Nothing broken, which is good news, really good. He has seen a physio, he's got a little bone bruising on the ankle bone, but it's strapped. He's got to stay off his foot today, for the rest of the day and this evening, and we'll assess again in the morning, but as it stands, positive that he'll race tomorrow.
So look, the French may very well be the defending champions after their victory on home soil in 2023, but it's the Americans that have been the most dominant and successful team at the Motocross of Nations with 23 wins. And let's not forget that 13-year in a row winning streak from 81 to 93. And I think it's probably had a lot to do with these two legends. You say it's a lekker to be here.
Lekker to be here. Lekker. You know, no, Eldon never said that. To me,
it's more of a Rattray thing.
There's so much pressure, you know, when we were racing to come to these events. It was hard to have fun. At least for me, it was, and I'm assuming for him because we were expected to win. So to be able to come to something like this and take it all in, that's what it's all about.
We do a great job in the United States. I'm not taking that away from when we do host Motocross of Nations. But when you come over to the European side, the two-wheel motorsports fans, they're just insane. I like what RB says. Like he's exactly right. To really get a true feel of what Motocross of Nations is and what that event is, you got to go to one in Europe.
And it was to be a really busy weekend for Ricky as he unveiled Triumph's very first 450 motocross bike. And a really proud moment for the GOAT too, as he's been fully hands-on in the design and the development of the bike for Triumph. Race day, the world's best MX riders. 3 30-minute motos in just 3 hours. Strap in, it's going to be intense. Now the Motocross of Nations always sees two classes on track in any given race. And in Moto 1 it was the MXGP and MX2 classes that would be doing battle in an all-star lineup of the 450 and 250 big hitters. Tim Geiser, with a point to prove, was absolutely on fire, beating a resurgent Eli Tomac, and a painfully roosted Romain Febvre holding on for third. For Team SA, Camden had a really great showing on his 250, finishing in 16th, while Cameron rode through the pain to finish down in 37th.
Ankle's alright, didn't have a good first moto. Had a decent start, was following Cam for a few laps and then lost a turn and lost my rhythm. Wasn't a good moto, gonna go back and reset now and get ready for the last moto of the day.
But physically, mentally, how do you get yourself fired up for another race?
Well, I think he had quite a good race actually. I think especially towards the end he was quite strong. I think he's in good shape at the moment. So I think you can take it as a positive because he's already warmed up, he's already in the rhythm and stuff, and just go from there.
It's definitely not easy, but I think it's, I like it, you know, I'm in good physical condition. It's the same for everyone, it's tough for everyone, so it's a bit of a mental game as well, but it's not easy.
Goggles were an issue in the first heat. A lot of guys pulling in for goggle changes, throwing goggles off and so on. And with the soil properties, it's very stony. So the roost really hurts us. I think positioning early on is good. And I think we stand a very good chance of getting good position today.
A bit used to this weather, so hopefully I can have a good goggle prep because goggles are going to be key now at the moment. So yeah, looking forward to it and it's going to have some fun.
don't think I've ever been to a motorsports event where everyone's been dancing, the marshals, the crowd singing to Sweet Caroline. This is the vibe that you come to motocross for. Unbelievable. Wow. Race 2 on its way. Now the quick turnaround between motors for the MX2 class really bit hard for Camden, who crashed out of the race on lap 7, leaving Tristan to fly the lonely SA flag with a solid 24th place finish. But up front, it was the Jet Lawrence show. The 450 Supercross champion had switched to the open class, which proved to be a really good strategy call by Team Australia.
Tristan and I have to deliver now on this one, so yeah, just got to put our heads down and push the whole motor and see how we end up.
Now with each team allowed a drop score, it all came down to this, the final motor. 5 countries separated by just 4 points, and all their riders on the 450s. With probably one of the most stacked gates to date, fans were treated to an absolutely incredible race that literally went down to the second last corner. Tim Geiser may have made it a double for the day, but it was Team Australia, runners-up in 23, who went one better, taking their first Motocross of Nations win. With such a strong rider lineup, Team SA were disappointed with their 18th place finish.
Yes, not the result we were after, but just happy to be here and be able to be a part of the vibe, and all the action is good. It's always nice to finish it on a better result, but yeah, just lovely to be around this atmosphere.
MX life, baby!
I think I've changed from a car guy to a two-wheel fanboy, and that's not a bad thing, because I've got to do MotoGP, I've got to do Isle of Man twice, and now obviously Motocross of Nations, and my love and respect and appreciation for what the riders can do, their natural ability is one thing. I think there's also a level of craziness to be able to do what they do, but what makes this sport so amazing is the level of access for the fan and the fan. I mean, they are crazy in terms of showing their love and passion for the sport. It was Ricky Carmichael that said to us, when you come to Europe, there's history, there's heritage, and this is exactly what he was talking about. So for me, my first visit to the Motocross of Nations, it is a monster event. Put it on your bucket list. You have to do this.